All right, welcome back to part 3 of patterns and grids. In this tutorial, we're going to finish up with going over how to create patterns essentially as textures in Adobe Photoshop and adjust their blend modes. So what I wanted to share first was the final version of the filter effects from the last tutorial. The only thing I want to point out was that you can actually change the blend modes of these little effects, and blend modes are something special. They essentially blend the layer below in a mathematical way that's very interesting, and you can get all kinds of interesting effects. Kind of think of it like dropping the opacity layer where you see through the image a little bit, but with math they essentially darken or lighten or provide contrast between the blend modes. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this chrome layer here. Basically, again, if you collapsed your little layers by clicking on the arrow, you can just open it up here and you'll have your filter gallery, which you can double click and adjust the settings. So I have this chrome one applied. I'll go ahead and cancel out. To adjust the blend modes of this though, it's this little widget here in the bottom right corner here of the filter of this layer. So if I double click on that, it'll open up the blend mode options. And if I click in here, you'll see all the blend modes are listed here. So you have to click on one to try them out. So overlay is usually a good go-to one for textures and patterns. So creating nice overlay is usually good. These sort of lighten the pixels and these tend to darken them. So we'll try overlay to see what that looks like, and that looks pretty good. But I'll demonstrate what multiply would look like and then what screen will look like. Those are the three main ones to try out. Of course, you can try out any of the other ones. I'm going to choose maybe soft light is another one. I am going to stick, I think, with overlay. The other thing you can do with the overlay is you can drop the opacity, and this will essentially get rid of the effect more and reveal the layer underneath. So that's another thing you can adjust. I'll leave it around 92%. That looks okay, and click OK. So this document is done. All I got to do is go File, Save, and basically that one's done. If I have all my cool filters applied, let's go to this one and show how I did these cool pattern textures at the bottom here. You can see them here in the top of the layer stack, and the way it works, each layer has the effect applied and clipped above it. You'll notice that by that little arrow there, it's sort of just demonstrating that this is affecting just this layer here. So if I turn off the effect here, it's the bottom right image here. And the blend mode is set to overlay for this one. So this one's sent to color burn, and then this one's sent to overlay. So you can try different blend modes and see what you think. So I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here and choose this bottom one here. It's the bottom, which is the top left one in terms of the image. And basically, I'm going to open up the patterns area. So if I double click on this, I'll open up patterns. And each of these have little sort of folders which you can open up and close just like I did there. The legacy ones are older ones, so you may have some different patterns visible in here. And if so, what you can do is you can click on the little widget here, which I call it the widget or hamburger icon in the pattern shelf, and go down to append you can add legacy patterns or more, or you can hit append default patterns, and then you just click OK and it will append it in there. And so they'll bead here towards the bottom. So there's some like dirt and stone ones. These are older ones that are kind of cool. I like the stone one in particular. So now what I have to do is change the blend mode of this, because right now you can't see through it. So with this layer selected, I'm going to click in here and choose maybe overlay. Let's see how that looks like. That looks kind of cool. Let's try multiply or color burn. Let's go through these. Now you can, one fun thing is you can click on here and then roll with the mouse, and you can kind of see all the different effects. So you can literally do it that way. And then you don't have to, you can just visually look at it and see which one you like. So I'm thinking with this one, soft light looks kind of nice. So, and then basically I just have to click on the next layer, which is, this one, and repeat that same process. So maybe on this one, I will choose a tree texture. So maybe I'll click on this one. Got some cool trees here. And then basically change the blend mode of that layer again through here. So I could choose lighten is kind of interesting because it goes in the hair more. But you can, roll through, or again, click on it and then use the roller of the mouse to kind of figure out what you want in here for each of these. Some of them are pretty horrible looking. I think overlay looks okay. So I think I'll keep that one there. Now, if I want to drop the overall effect of this layer, I can drop the opacity. And so it'll be a little bit more transparent, the effect, which can also be nice. Basically, that's all you got to do is each of these layers, click on them, and then choose a different texture. So in here, There's a wood grain, there's gravel, there's some rust textures. Rust one's kind of cool. Let's click in here and try overlay. Overlay is usually a good one for these kind of textures. It's almost always my go-to to try out. That one looks really great. So basically that's it. Just repeat with these other three and then you're pretty much done. Then you just save out the file. Go File, Save at the end, and voila, you have your 2 documents done. I still have 3 in the middle to do, but you get the idea here. Basically, you have your filter effects in a grid to create a pattern and these cool texture patterns basically to create a pattern. So that's it for this project. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, cheers.